Hi, this is Lesson 80 from the RevGenetics podcast. You can listen to the podcast on YouTube and now on Spotify, where we do a deep dive on supplements and longevity studies. Today, we're getting into something incredibly fascinating, a study about how a natural plant compound called Fisetin can actually reprogram cancer cells. It literally flips their microscopic genetic switches, which stops them from growing and spreading.
Yeah.
It is wild stuff.
It really is. I mean, it's a total game changer for how we think about this stuff.
Yeah, totally. So let's break this down because, normally we hear about cancer and that sounds so incredibly complicated. But I like to think about human DNA as basically just a giant instruction manual for your body, right?
Exactly. Yeah.
Every single cell in your body has the exact same manual. So how does cancer mess with these instructions to actually survive in there?
Well, that is where things get really interesting. So to understand that, we have to talk about something called epigenetics, which I know sounds like a big, scary science word.
Yeah, that sounds like jargon.
Right. But it's actually super simple. Think of epigenetics as sticky notes or highlighters inside that instruction manual you just mentioned.
Okay, sticky notes, I like that.
Yeah, so these sticky notes basically tell the cell, which instructions to read and which ones to just totally ignore.
Got it. So a skin cell has different sticky notes than a heart cell.
Spot on. But what cancer does, which is incredibly sneaky, is it starts putting ignore sticky notes all over the body's natural defense instructions.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, your body has these natural defenses called tumor suppressors, which are basically the security guards, and cancer just slaps a bunch of do not read sticky notes over those specific pages.
So the security guards just go to sleep.
Exactly. The cell's security system is completely blindfolded.
Man, that's terrifying. But this is where the star of today's study comes in, right? Because we're talking about Fisetin, which is just a natural compound found in plants like strawberries and apples. So how does this simple plant compound fight back against the cancer sticky notes?
So the researchers found that Fisetin acts kind of like a specialized cleaner.
Right.
When it gets into the cell, it actually goes in and blocks the bad tools that cancer uses to place those ignore sticky notes in the first place.
Wait, so it just stops the cancer from putting the notes down?
Yes. It jams the tools, and because the cancer can't place those notes anymore, the old sticky notes fall off, and the cell's natural defenses wake back up.
That is amazing.
It gets better. Because the security guards wake up, the cancer cells actually stop moving around. The study found a crazy statistic.
Let's hear it.
The Fisetin caused the cancer cell's ability to spread and migrate to completely plummet. It dropped from 40% all the way down to just 8%.
From 40% to 8%, just from waking up the natural defenses.
Right, just by blocking those bad tools.
Okay, but let me play devil's advocate here for a second, because I'm a bit of a skeptic. If this Fisetin stuff is going in there and wiping away sticky notes or blocking the tools, does it accidentally wipe away the good sticky notes in healthy cells? Is there collateral damage?
That is the exact question the scientists had. But they did these massive computer simulations, and it turns out, no.
Really?
Yeah, Fisetin is super precise. The simulations showed that it fits perfectly, like a tiny key into a lock, but it only fits into the bad, overactive tools that the cancer is using.
Oh, I see.
Yeah, so it jams the bad tools, but it leaves your body's normal, healthy instruction manual completely safe and untouched.
That is, wow. A huge shout out to RevGenetics for making this deep dive possible.
Absolutely.
They have an amazing long-term focus on providing evidence-based natural compounds for aging research, including the high-quality Fisetin we're talking about today.
It's amazing to see how the natural compounds they focus on are exactly what scientists are studying for the future of cellular health.
So true. Okay, so moving on to what this means for us in the real world, because, this is the million-dollar question. If Fisetin works this incredibly well in a lab, why isn't it already being used in hospitals right now? Why isn't everyone taking this?
Well, it comes down to how we currently treat things versus how Fisetin works. Right now, hospitals use chemical drugs that are incredibly harsh.
Right, the traditional stuff.
Exactly. And those traditional drugs, as we all know, have devastating side effects because they just attack everything. Fisetin, on the other hand, is a much safer natural alternative.
Which is great.
It is. And that's exactly why scientists are so excited about its future potential as a complementary therapy, meaning using it alongside other treatments to make them better and safer.
Okay, but there's got to be a catch. What is the physical hurdle preventing them from just giving this to patients today?
The catch is something called bioavailability.
Bioavailability. Okay, break that down for us.
So bioavailability is basically just a fancy word for how well your body can actually absorb something.
Ah.
The human body is really, really bad at absorbing Fisetin when you just eat it.
Wait, so I can't just eat a massive dole of strawberries to get this effect?
I mean, you can, but it won't do this. Your liver acts like a tough bouncer at a club.
Oh, okay.
When it sees Fisetin coming through your digestion, it thinks, oh, this is a random plant compound, and it just flushes it out of your system immediately.
Oh, man. So it doesn't even get to the cancer cells?
Exactly. It gets flushed before it can do its job.
So how do the scientists fix that?
The study talks about a really brilliant future solution. Scientists are working on something called nanopackaging.
Nanopackaging. Sounds sci-fi.
It's basically putting the Fisetin inside incredibly tiny delivery vehicles. These little bubbles are made of the exact same stuff as your own cells.
Oh, so it's like a disguise.
Yes, the liver just sees the bubble, thinks it's a normal part of the body, and lets it pass right by. So the Fisetin actually reaches the target perfectly.
That is genuinely incredible. So what are the next steps then? We have the nanopackaging, we have the Fisetin.
The next steps are live animal studies. We have to make absolutely sure that this nanopackaging is safe and effective in a living, breathing body before it ever reaches human trials.
Right, which makes total sense. You can't just skip straight to humans.
No, definitely not. But the future is just so bright here. We're looking at a completely new way of handling disease.
Just imagine a future where protecting your health isn't about using harsh chemicals, but simply giving your body the right natural tools to flip its own healing switches back on.
I love that.
We hope today's podcast on published science gave you something useful to take away.
Thank you for listening to the RevGenetics podcast.
RevGenetics.com for the best longevity supplements on Earth.